Picture this, a courtroom drama unfolding, but with the highest stakes imaginable, questions of justice, power, and accountability. Former ANC spokesperson and Minister Zizi Kodwa has taken his fight public, accusing former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo of dodging responsibility in an ongoing legal battle between the two. His words cut deep, and they're turning heads across South African politics. Before we go further, if you're here for bold truth, heated political battles, and courtroom intrigue, go ahead and hit subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you never miss what might be the next explosive reveal. Kodwa's grievance is sharp. He claims Zondo's actions and decisions in certain legal findings are irrational and unconstitutional, and now Zondo is avoiding being held accountable. In January 2025, Kodwa launched legal papers challenging the findings, asserting that Zondo's report contains serious flaws. He says these flaws can't be brushed aside as technicalities, they pose damage to fairness and the rule of law. The dispute has its roots in the aftermath of the state capture inquiry, known widely as the Zondo Commission, where Zondo led the investigation into corruption, abuse of power, and state capture involving business and political elites. During that process, Zondo's role and the findings he produced became focal points for both praise and backlash. Kodwa contends that some of Zondo's findings about him were erroneous or lacked sufficient constitutional grounding, yet Zondo seems to be evading deeper interrogation or revision. That, according to Kodwa, is a sign of arrogance, or worse, an attempt to insulate the judiciary from challenge. It's not an idle accusation. Zondo's findings about payments from EOH to Kodwa during the years 2014 to 2015 had flagged the possibility of undue influence. The Commission's report noted that EOH executives had tried to induce Kodwa to meddle with procurement processes, though it also said there was no clear proof of wrongdoing by him, given his position in the ANC, not as a public office holder at the time. Effectively, the Commission walked a razor's edge, making serious allegations but stopping short of saying Kodwa broke laws. Now Kodwa says Zondo's cautious approach in that report backfired. It left ambiguity and fatal gaps that now serve as cover for Zondo to avoid facing full scrutiny. In other words, he's accusing the former Chief Justice of writing conclusions with wiggle room, then stepping aside when verbal or legal challenges come. That is the core of avoiding accountability, in Kodwa's view. And to make the fight inevitable, Kodwa isn't hiding behind legalese alone, he's taking this clash into public discourse. He's dragging the matter out from dusty legal archives into the sunlight, demanding Zondo defend his judgments, explain contradictions, and stand by them under pressure. This is courtroom theater with constitutional implications. What's fascinating is that this struggle pits two formidable figures against each other. Zondo, once celebrated for leading the state capture inquiry, now finds himself challenged by Kembaiswa Kodwa. If Zondo cannot sufficiently defend or justify his findings under powerful cross-examination, the integrity of the Commission's work, even its credibility, could be called into question. Kodwa seems prepared for that battle. He's signaling that no man, even a former Chief Justice, should be beyond challenge. If Zondo's judgments were flawed, they must be revisited. If they were sound, then let Zondo show his work. In making this a public and legal confrontation, Kodwa is staking a claim that the rules apply to everyone, regardless of rank. Observers are watching closely. Some will rally behind Kodwa, seeing this as a bold act of holding elite power to account. Others may caution that such internal clashes weaken institutional trust or provoke backlash from the judiciary or establishment. Critics might argue this fight is politically motivated. But in the middle lies a demand for clarity. In a democracy, institutions must be able to defend themselves under scrutiny. If a commission claims to unmask wrongdoing, its methods, personality biases, gaps, and assumptions must also survive legal challenge. By pressing Zondo, Kodwa is testing whether the Zondo Commission's legacy is unassailable, or whether it is itself subject to constitutional interrogation. Where does this leave the broader landscape? If Kodwa succeeds in compelling Zondo, or his successors, to revisit or justify key findings, it could ripple through many connected cases of state capture, corruption, and institutional reform. It may lead to calls for revisions, appeals, or even new hearings. It might reignite old allegations or produce new disclosures. This is more than just personal grievance. It's a confrontation over the boundaries of judicial infallibility, the permanence of commission reports, and the right, or duty, of citizens or former officials to challenge decisions, even those of top judges. This story is far from its final act. There will be legal briefs, counters, perhaps surprise evidence, public pressure, even courtroom drama. Will Zondo respond forcefully, or will he continue to remain distant? Will the courts demand his presence or explanations? Will this shape how future commissions are held accountable? One thing is certain, this clash will keep us watching. If you're engaged in South Africa's fight for accountability and transparency, this is a headline you can't ignore. So, if you haven't already, subscribe now and hit the bell, because I'll be bringing every turn, reply, and revelation right to your screen.